One of the most common questions I get asked is, how do you sell consulting services? And today I'm going to share with you how I go about selling consulting services without a proposal and how I close consulting clients in just one conversation. So that's right. 90% of my clients close in one conversation, and I've sold millions of dollars of consulting services in this way. And here's the kicker. I've done it without sending out a single proposal or presenting a complicated pitch deck. And I've sold to some pretty big brands, pretty big projects, and fractional CMO type of services. So it really comes down to one critical skill. And it doesn't really rely on your ability to pitch. It relies on your ability to ask the right questions. So today I'm going to walk you through the very same process I use, the same strategy that has clients ending our conversations with, all right, so how do we work together before I even tell them how I work or what it costs? So I barely have to pitch at all. This is a subtle shift in the approach, but it has a huge impact on your closing rate. Most of the clients that I speak with decide to work with me, they refer, and I want to show you how to create the same outcome. So whether you're new to consulting or you're just looking to refine your client acquisition skills, this video is packed with value for you. So make sure you've got a notebook out, because I'm going to share the secrets and the exact questions I ask so that you can close more clients more effectively in just a single conversation. Hi, my name is Laura Meyer, and I'm a growth strategist to some of the country's top brands, and I'm also a mentor to consultants. And now that I've set the stage, let's dive into the key concept here that can really shift your conversations with your clients, which is the power of strategic questioning. And this transforms what would be just an ordinary meeting or a pitch into a pivotal moment of realization for your client, that light bulb moment. Because asking the right questions isn't just about gathering more information, it's guiding your client through a process of discovery. And this can help them realize the challenges they're facing and really define the problem that they have, and in turn, naturally share with them the value that you can bring to the table as a consultant. So I want you to imagine a conversation where instead of delivering a rehearsed pitch, you're asking insightful, thought-provoking questions. And the types of questions that are designed to unearth the client's true needs and perhaps even just concerns or issues or aha moments that they hadn't even fully recognized or said out loud. And the beauty of this method is in its subtlety. So as you navigate through these conversations with strategic questions, you're positioning the client to reach a crucial realization. Instead of you having to spell out every reason why they need your services, they begin to see it for themselves, which is more of an internally motivated decision to work with you. And when done right, it leads to that golden moment in any consultation. The client, recognizing your value, turns to you and asks, how can we work together? Which is the moment that you know you've done this right and you've mastered the art of strategic questioning. There's 4 elements to this, and I want to dive into each one with you. And in each element, there's questions that will guide your entire consulting discussion. So like I said before, you might want to take notes. And they're all going to really help you unpack what it is that you can help them with. So first of all, you know if you can help them. And second of all, you help them realize for themselves that they are leaving so much money on the table by not working with you. So the first step in this process is helping them come up with their future target. A lot of times this is just hanging out in their brains anyways, but when you ask the question of, where do you want to be a year from now? This is where they start to open up and talk about their vision and their goals. And it's not just any question. It's strategically positioned in the first step because it taps into their aspirations, whether it's revenue or time management or dream business or net profit. And this sets the stage for your entire conversation. It does 2 critical things. First of all, it shows the client that you're focused on their future and their growth and not just selling a service. And second of all, it aligns your services directly with their dreams, their objectives. So for example, if a client's goal is to double their revenue, your entire conversation from here will center around strategies to scale their business to that point. And if it's reducing the time they spend in, let's say, marketing, you'll discuss how they can efficiently get it off their plate and delegate to somebody maybe like you. So listen closely. Their answers aren't just responses. They're the keys to how you position your services as the solution to their needs. And it's about connecting what you offer to where they want to go. So jot this question down. where do you want to be a year from now? And as you ask it in meetings, watch how it opens doors to deeper understanding and alignment with your client's goals. And a lot of times they'll just start talking and dreaming, and it puts them in a really positive state for the second question. Second question is around current state. So now that we've talked about where the client wants to be, it's important to understand where they currently are. So this is what brings us to the stage of asking about your current state. So you ask them about their present situation, maybe revenue streams, traffic sources, lead generation strategies, and team costs. And this part of the conversation gets into a little bit more details, and you want to uncover as much as possible. And don't be surprised if they just start like unloading all of what's wrong with their business. But really what you're trying to get at is like, what's driving their revenue? How many leads are they generating monthly or daily? What's that cost per acquisition of the leads? And the goal here is to try to get a view of their overall marketing or sales process. It's kind of like opening the hood of a car to understand how the engine's running. And you're listening and analyzing, but also just letting them unload. And as you probe into their current state, it's important to redirect to those clarifying questions that you really need to know. And these will help you gather insights to gauge the effectiveness of their efforts and where you can help the most. For example, understanding where their revenue comes from can reveal so much about their business model and whether or not they're positioned correctly in the market. And anything that they share and what they share first is usually the thing that's keeping them up at night. And this is beyond surface level data. It gives you a sense of what their biggest struggles are. And usually, again, by just asking the right questions in the right orders and really just digging in, that helps you gather the knowledge to bridge the gap between what their present state is and what their future goals are. And this is a really important step in creating a strategy that's both relevant and impactful. And now we're getting into the gap. So that difference between where they are now and where they want to be. And a lot of times what you'll find is you're just kind of repeating it to them. Like, okay, so just so I understand, this is what's happening right now in your business. This is where you think that, your sales team is ineffective, or the marketing strategies that you're using aren't giving you an ROI, and this is where you'd like to be. And it's about uncovering those obstacles that are preventing them from reaching their goals. What do they think those obstacles are? And this can be anything from like, I have the wrong ad partner, to inefficient marketing, to just gaps in their sales process. So getting at, okay, where are you now? And then where do you want to be? So just to make sure I'm understanding clearly, you have this going on right now. You want X, but you have Y. What is getting in the way of you being able to get Y? And we're looking for things to fix that are high value, or other types of problems that we can assign a value to fixing. This is the surprising part. Usually these things are glaringly obvious. When you are talking to them, you're going to be like, okay, I can't believe they didn't see this for themselves. And the problem isn't that they can't see it for themselves. The problem is they're just too close to it. It's not that they haven't thought of that glaringly obvious solution. They're just so close to it, and they're so wrapped up in all the drama of all of the issues that are happening in their business. They need somebody else from the outside saying, hey, have you ever thought of doing this? And you just need one or two of these. You don't want it to be that they leave the conversation with a full consulting suite of services that, you just delivered in a sales call. All they need is one or two, like, oh, right. I hadn't thought of that before. Or I thought of that, or we thought of doing that, but we never did it. Or we considered doing that, but we never knew how. And those are those aha moments that you're looking for. And again, if you're like, I'm not going to bring this up because this is clearly very obvious and they've probably thought of it, bring it up. Because that is surprisingly the thing that ends up being what they want to hire you for. And if you're talking to the right client and you're afraid of giving them clear, ideas, and you're afraid of them running off and doing it without you, they're not going to. If they do, you're talking to the wrong client. No leader, no CEO wants to implement their own marketing or figure things out on their own. They're used to paying experts in order to shortcut growth. So if you're talking to what I call a sweet spot client, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my other videos on that topic. Don't worry about sharing. Don't worry about creating value. They will love you for it, and they will hire you because of it. So let me elaborate a little bit more on how you can identify this gap and create value. So let's say that they have low conversion rates or they're struggling with team inefficiencies. You could just say, have you ever thought about restructuring your team this way? Or have you ever thought about looking at that point in the sales process to optimize it? And this is where you're also offering your services as a bridge to this gap by showing your expertise, showing that you know what you're talking about, and that your expertise can turn into growth and success in what it is that they want. Because remember, clients don't just buy your services, they invest in solutions to their problems. And by outlining how you can bridge that gap, you position yourself as somebody who knows how to solve that problem the best. And if you're wondering, okay, how can I ask the right questions to identify the gap? Start writing it down, because here's some ideas. What are you doing now to get the results you're getting? Where does your revenue come from? Where does your traffic come from? How many leads do you have coming in per day or per month? Do you know what your cost per acquisition is? How are you spending your paid traffic? How much are you paying in team costs? Do you know your profit margin? And a lot of times they're not going to know. So I'll normalize it by saying, it's okay if you don't know this. This is something that if we work together, we could figure it out together in partnership. But let me just ask you these questions. And again, these are just simple questions that you can normalize not having the answer to so they don't feel as bad. And just use your discretion with them. Like, don't come out firing all those questions at once. Use a few of them at a time. And then once you've gained a clear understanding of the primary challenges, it's time to pivot to a very uplifting but equally crucial topic, which is the opportunity. And this is where we shift from focusing on their problems to the potential. Now that we are diving into understanding your clients' most profitable and successful business lines and what their core problems are, this is about identifying their peaks, like times they really hit it out of the park. So you want to start out by asking, what's the most profitable or successful thing you've ever done in your business? And this is a great way to approach this topic and just have them reflect on what they've done really well. And you want to unravel the story behind why it was successful and why they stopped. And this is important for two reasons. First, it helps your clients recall and relive their victories, which is always a positive experience for them. And second, and most importantly, it allows you to identify patterns and strategies that have been successful that could help bridge the gap that you uncovered previously. So make sure that you're taking notes. I'm always taking notes when I'm talking to people. And I ask them, like, well, what did you do differently during that time? Was it a marketing campaign or a new product launch or maybe a change in their sales process? And the details are golden, because your objective here is to understand what they did really well and how your services could help them bring what it is that they've done really well to their problems so that they can be solved. And this isn't, again, just providing a service or selling you. It's not about them feeling like everything is broken. It's helping them realize they are doing a lot well. And with an outside perspective, they can amplify what's already working. And this is where you can position yourself as a critical asset to their business. And it's a powerful shift from consultant to true strategic growth partner. So now that we've walked through these 4 stages, I just want to review them with you. The first is understanding the future target, what it is that they want to get to. Then it's the current state, where they are right now. What are they doing that's giving them the current result that they have? Then it's the gap. What are the core problems in the business that they want to solve? And then finally, the opportunity. How can they use past success to solve their current problems? And this is where the art of conversation meets sales strategy. You've already uncovered their needs, identified their gaps, and explored opportunities. And then the next step is to position your consulting services as the solution that they've been looking for. Usually, in my experience, by the end of the 4th stage, they are already asking how we can work together, because they see that clear path that you have provided, that you're the one that can bridge those gaps and help advise them on how to take advantage of their opportunities. And it's all about connecting those dots and helping them realize that this is something that you could help with, whether it's an expertise in digital marketing or it's fractional CMO services to clean up all the team issues and enhance marketing operational efficiency. You really want to tailor your pitch to their unique scenario. But a lot of times I'll just ask, what do you want to do from here? And usually they'll let you know. And these 4 critical stages and the questions that go along with them are really designed to help them get there on their own through a journey of discovery. So you don't have to hard pitch yourself at all. And this results in a natural and very compelling offer for your services. So I really encourage you to practice this method, refine your questioning skills, watch conversations lead into more meaningful outcomes and successful client engagements. And as a bonus, I always keep track of all of the conversations that I have with clients, and I use what I learned in the sales conversation to shortcut onboarding. It makes it so easy. We already know what we're doing. We already know what we're going to work on, and it becomes part of their first 90-day plan. That's part of my signature methodology. So this may also lead to you being curious on how I package and price my services, both as a fractional CMO as a consultant. So if this is something you're wondering about, I encourage you to check out my guide, which is createyourconsultingoffer.com.